Good afternoon. I look forward to sharing with you this afternoon how passion can really lead to success. And you probably have some ideas at this point what my passions are. But let me tell you a little bit more. You know, it's often about the time that you're entering high school. I know that I asked what the audience would be, that many of you are maybe freshmen higher up. It's often about that time that the adults of the world begin to ask you questions such as, what are you going to study in college? What are you going to be when you grow up? You know, let's face it, those are weighty questions to be considering at such a young age, and yet they're there. All that pressure is there. What college? What do you study? And frankly, I felt the same way when I was in high school. Now, you may be thinking that was a long time ago. It doesn't seem that long ago to me, as often people of my age will say. But I remember back to that time, my teachers telling me that I should look at my strengths. What were my strengths? That would tell me what I needed to do in my profession for the future. Well, as it turns out, I was very gifted in math. And so people were constantly telling me, my parents, my teachers, you'll do something great in the math field. I had an older sister who was also very strong in math, and she said, we will be tax lawyers. Just think about it. We'll have our own practice, Halstead and Halstead. We'll be great lawyers, and we'll make a lot of money. But you know what? As I thought about it, that wasn't my passion. I was strong in math, but there was something else needling at me. And so I still remember sitting down with a college counselor and later an admissions director who said to me, he's looking through all my college board scores and saying, looks like you'll be great in the math field. What are you going to do with that great gift? And I looked back at him and I said, I'm going to teach. I still remember the look on his face. I'm thinking one of the greatest things in the world to teach. And he looked back at me and he said, for an individual as talented as you, to teach would be like playing with paper dolls. Get real. What are you going to do in the world? You know, I walked out of that room that day. I was totally taken back. In fact, I was totally angry. I thought, to teach is one of the greatest things in the world. I'm going to teach. And so I went off to college, and because I had all those good math scores, I could clep all those math classes, I could actually focus on mathematics and focus on education. Now, you may be saying, so passion in teaching, what does that mean? You know, my real passion was people. I loved helping people. In fact, I can remember even back to an early age. I am one of 5. I'm the middle child. For those of you who are middle children, the best place to be, right? I even tried teaching my younger sister how to read. I wanted her to be so proficient in school. Now, that was my first failed teaching assignment, but I tried it. But all through school, I looked for those opportunities to help people. My teachers would often ask me to help tutor someone, and you may think, what a burden. Why you have to do your work, you do their work too? But do you know what? I found that I loved helping other people. I loved seeing the lights turn on when they suddenly got a concept that they may not have known before. You see, teaching was the enlightening of my passion for people, my passion for children. And as I began to really near the end of my college career, I remember my lead math professor sitting me down and saying, okay, it's time for you to go to graduate school in mathematics. You'll make a great impact on the world. And do you know what I said? I said, I can't wait to leave college. I'm going out, and I am going to get a job teaching. And against everyone's advice, that's exactly what I did. I went out and I began to teach, and I'm not going to tell you that it was always easy. But as I began to see it change the lives of people, I knew that I had been privileged and given a passion that would really just transport me for the rest of my life. Now, there were times that I did get tired. There were times I wondered. I mean, you know, let's face it, teachers don't make as much money as some of the other skills that you might have or some of the other jobs that you might have. And I even took a break from teaching. I took a break and joined my husband in business. I became the vice president of finances. I was good at it, but something was missing. That passion, that joy was missing from my life that teaching had given to me. So now I want you to think about, what is your passion? It's not just about your strengths, it's about your passion. I mean, can you imagine getting to be my age and still being excited to get up every morning knowing that you can make an impact on the world? That is great stuff. So let's look at just what is the connection between passion and success. I prefer to define success as the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose. So what is your aim or purpose in life? What is it that you uniquely, with your strengths and passion, can do? And when you combine that with passion, something that gives you boundless energy, that connection is a powerful one. So you may be thinking, so I know what I'm good at, but how do I define my passion? What is it that gives you boundless energy? Math was fun for me. I liked it. It did not give me boundless energy. Working with people, working with children gave me boundless energy. It still gives me boundless energy today. Now, don't get me wrong. There are those times that there are some passions that may not work and may not actually become a career. For example, I have a passion for chocolate. Now, I guess I could have been a chocolatier, but that might not have worked out so well. I had a great passion for reading, and I could have worked for a book company, but I wouldn't have made the impact that I've made today. So I want you to begin to look at, what is it in your life that when you do it, you just have incredible energy? That may very well be the passion that you're looking for. Well, my passion has driven me through teaching on to becoming an administrator, a curriculum development specialist. I became a headmaster in 1993, had the privilege of actually taking a small Episcopal school, sitting in a single building and moving it 3 miles down the road. It now sits on 86 acres. It's triple that size. And I had the privilege of really impacting lives all through that. Today, as the Executive Director of the Florida Council of Independent Schools, I travel all over the state of Florida. I get to visit schools. I get to help schools. I get to impact 70,000 plus lives. In addition, I serve on a national board, and we plan things that will impact all of our independent schools today. What could be better than living out your passion? So I want you to think about, what is it that could drive you? What could really be so passionate, so energetic for you that even when you reach my stage of life, you look forward to doing what you do each and every day? And those passions may come in some strange ways. You know, just a couple of years ago, I heard from one of my students who sent me an email after finishing his second World Olympics. And this is what the email said. Dear Dr. Hodges, you helped me when I was a little boy. You gave me direction. I need your direction again. If I fly to Tampa, will you see me? I said, absolutely, I'll see you. I went to meet him. He had a great passion for athletics, but he also, I discovered in our conversation, had a great passion to help other people. And he said to me, what would you think if I take my skills in athletics and if I then use them to help other kids find their way? Can you guess what I said to him? I said, absolutely, that would be a great thing to do. So I want you to think through not just what you're good at, but I want you to think through what would give you energy for a lifetime. My jobs have evolved through the years, and I've had the opportunity to do many different things. But all of them still come back to impacting the lives of children, impacting the lives of others. And I feel very privileged to be able to do that. So now I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. Find that passion. Combine it with your strengths and convert it into a pathway that can become a profession for you that will last a lifetime. What is it? What aim or purpose do you have that you may impact the world, and later, not only do you make a difference in the world, but you also live a life of boundless energy? And with that, I would say this is my strategy for success, a combination of strengths and passion resulting in success. And frankly, isn't that the ultimate success? Finding purpose, finding a way to impact the lives of others. So I encourage you to find your passion. Thank you.